with the election coming up in November, you were obviously Foreign Secretary for a part of President Trump's term, or his first term at least. What are your thoughts ahead of the election, and what do you think, depending on who wins, the consequences might be for UK foreign policy, or what sort of things should decision makers be thinking about ahead of November?
Well, it's obviously a very, very important thing in terms of our diplomacy. And the straight answer to your question, Ryan, is that the British government has to find a way to work with whoever is the next president of the United States, because they are our most important ally. And, we, I think over the years, have shown that we can work with administrations of whatever party is in control in Washington. But this is a particularly important moment because, as I talk about in my New Statesman article, we had a kind of golden period in terms of the kind of democratic values that I imagine people in Big Tent would all support, from the fall of the Berlin Wall until about 2012, 2013, when the number of democracies around the world dramatically increased with, huge numbers of new democracies in Eastern Europe and across Africa and Asia. And really, we could feel very confident that the values that we believe in were going to continue to progress around different corners of the world. That has changed in the last 5 years. And we have a much more assertive China and a much more aggressive Russia. And this is a period where, if we want to protect those values in the next 50 years, the democracies of the world are going to have to start working together much more closely in the way that we did during the period of the Cold War. I hope we don't move into a second Cold War, but we learned that we had to work together to defend our shared values. And the good news here is that if you look in the history of the world, most alliances have tended to be transactional alliances. You scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. But the Western alliance that both won in the Second World War and won in the Cold War was a different type of alliance. It was a values-based alliance. And those alliances tend to be stronger when two countries come together because they share common ideals. The alliances tend to have stronger and deeper foundations. And of course, that was the great miscalculation that both Hitler made and the Soviet Union made. They were certain that us decadent capitalists could be split up and divided, but they actually found that alliance, because it's based on shared beliefs, is one of the strongest alliances you have. Now, we need to reconstitute that alliance going forward. And of course, the most important country in that equation is the world's most powerful democracy, which is the United States. And so the role of Britain is going to be to stand alongside the United States and help it rebuild that international alliance. And, that's obviously who is inside the White House will make a very big difference in that respect.